Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to share what is a mortgage host, who is it for, who is it not for, the advantages and disadvantages. Before I continue, like this video, hit the subscribe button for more of my videos. Let's get to it. So, what is a mortgage host? Who is a mortgage host? A mortgage host is the process by which an individual will take on a mortgage on behalf of someone else. I.e., an individual will take a buy-to-let on behalf of someone who cannot take a mortgage. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what a mortgage host is. Who uses mortgage host? Number one, someone who is under the age of 18 years. Someone who cannot take on a mortgage because they are underage and the bank or the mortgage lenders do not allow them to take a mortgage because of their age. Number two, someone with a bad credit rating. So if you've got a bad credit rating, it's difficult for you to get a mortgage. In the property investment sector or in the buy-to-let sector, if you've got bad credit rating or you've got county court judgment on your name, it's difficult for you to have a mortgage because you're not credit worthy. So if you're in that situation, instead of waiting until your credit gets better, because sometimes when you've got a CCJ on your name, only when you've got bad credit rate, in average it takes you about 6 years for you to get a good credit rating. Therefore, you could use someone to host your mortgages. You still invest in property instead of waiting for 6 to 7 years. That's the reason why lots of people use this mortgage host. And if your credit rating or your county court judgment is about to end, say it's about to end in about a month or so, you don't need to use a mortgage host because you can still wait until then. But however, if it's going to take 6-7 months or say a year or so, you want to take advantage of the market, find someone reliable, trustworthy that could host that mortgage for you to ensure that you've got property that are generating you. Number three, another person that needs a mortgage host is someone who hasn't got long credit history. Say you've migrated, haven't lived in the UK for the minimum amount of years required to have a mortgage, then you may need a mortgage host also to actually host that mortgage for you to ensure that you are building your credit rate. You're able to take on that mortgage when you become credit worthy. So these are the three main things why someone would use a mortgage host. So let's talk about what a mortgage host would do. So a mortgage host will buy the property as if they own the property. Their name would be on the title deed and registered on the land registry. So in the government eyes, they own the property. However, between you two, he's actually hosting that mortgage for you until you become credit worthy or until you become someone who's allowed to have a mortgage. And also any capital appreciation goes on that person's name because their name are in the property. So to protect you, you need to have a legal document. Regardless who that person is, whether they're your brother, your family member, your friend, have a legal document, official legal document that states that they are hosting that mortgage for you and all the cash flow, equity, any benefit that comes from that property will be transferred to you. I.e., if the rent is being paid, you can get that rent. If equity goes up and the owner or the person whose name was on the mortgage remortgage that property, you will get all those equities. So you need to make sure there is a document, legal document. Go to solicitors, make sure you get it right. You don't want to do this behind closed doors or by a second hand because you'll be investing money. Do it the legal way so you can identify all the ifs and buts or any issues that maybe come up that will be addressed in that legal document so that whenever there's time for you to take over the property or whenever there's capital appreciation or cash flow or rent coming into the property, both parties knows exactly what they're entitled to. So you should only ask someone that is very, very close to you, someone that you trust, someone that aligns to whatever your beliefs are to be your mortgages because you are in it with them for at least 5 years. So you need to make sure that whoever that person is, you can trust them, you can rely on them, and they are not going to deceive you. That's vitally important. So once you become credit worthy, So a few things happen. So let's talk about those few things. We've got the advantages and disadvantages. So let's look at the disadvantages first. So if you want to take that property back, there needs to be a transfer from the mortgage host to your name. So that would be a sale. So that person who hosts your mortgage is effectively selling that property to you. So that's one of the downside. And the sale of the property needs to be a realistic sale. It's not being undervalued or something like that. It has to be proper way of doing it, okay? And also legal cost is involved because you'll be buying it from the mortgage host to your name. And you would also have to pay stamp duty tax because you're effectively buying it from your mortgage host to yourself. So that may incur stamp duty, meaning you'll be paying stamp duty twice. You'll be paying stamp duty when the mortgage host bought the property and another stamp duty when you are buying the property from the mortgage host. And also there may be capital gains in the property as well if the mortgages were to sell it to you. So again, you need to discuss this with the mortgages to ensure that you pay the capital gains, because he may not be paying that capital gain for you because you own the property. He hasn't made any money out of it. So that is very important. So you need to discuss that with him to ensure that him or her, to ensure that when you buy the property off them, any capital gain impact, you would have to pay for it. So those are the main disadvantages. So now let's get to the advantages. Well, number one advantage is you are able to invest in property straight away. You don't have to wait until you become credit worthy or until you become 18. You can invest in property straight away. You can then, number two, you can get cash flow once you rent the property out, and obviously capital appreciation once the property value goes up. So you don't have to wait until all those things resolve before you invest in property. And also give you the opportunity to own property before you are 18 years old. And it also give you opportunity to own a property without waiting until you become credit worthy. So it gets you to buy properties and take advantage of the property market, especially now when we've been hit with the pandemic and property prices may be going down. If you're not eligible to actually buy these properties, you could use these mortgages to take advantage of the opportunity. And another advantage also, so if you were to buy the properties now, in few years' time, any capital appreciation in that property will be going to you. Again, guys, so important for you to sit with the person who's hosting your mortgage to understand what the consequences are, what the advantages are. Say, for example, if you're making cash flow, what's their profit share? Are you going to be paying a one-off payment? Are they sharing your profit? Will they be sharing any capital appreciation in the property? So you need to discuss that to ensure that there is a win-win for both parties, because they are taking the risk to take your property on their name and with their credit rating, so it needs to be financially viable to them as well. So you need to ensure that you're both sharing and you're fostering win-win resolution. And again, you need to have a proper discussion with them to ensure that you're both aligned and you both know exactly what you get into, and you both understand what the benefits and disadvantages are, and you both understand what you're getting out of that deal. So I recommend you to do this with someone that you absolutely trust, someone that you could rely on, someone that will never ever disappoint you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more of this video and share it with loved ones. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to sharing the next video.